I have these pods wide open. There's going to be far more quests here, so you can do them in any order you want. But I will tell you that the magic trick has a lot of information that will help you succeed in this series of videos. So I strongly urge you to do the magic trick projects and skill sets before live corners. With that having been said, now we can get started. We're going to save out a live corners 01.ai file. I'm going to go ahead and create a new file because you're going to have to do that. Command N, be smart. Okay, web large. If you're not doing this in order and you don't have web large there and you're not paying attention, it's under web, it's right here, and then let's give it a title, and we'll go ahead. And this naming convention, no spaces, lowercase letter in the first word, uppercase letter in the second word, and then numbers. This is called camel case. It's good workflow. It's good to name your files with a consistent, creative, a consistent, coherent naming convention. Okay? Let me just say that, and I hope you start paying attention to that. I'm going to hit Command minus to zoom out. I'm going to hold down the space bar to temporarily get the hand tool. I want you to do this. Work along with me. Stop this video. Open up a web large file and position it thusly. Okay, so we work together. Got it? Okay, get the rectangle tool right here. And if it's not the foremost tool, click and hold and select the rectangle tool. And then click and drag out a rectangle that's slightly smaller than the artboard. Okay, so we have the same thing. I'm going to switch back to the black arrow and click away. So we have a white background and a black stroke. Now, the reason I want you to do this is because this is the default behavior in Illustrator, and I want you to see how this behaves. Let's, for kicks, click on this object and then up the stroke weight. Let's take it up to 5 pixels. Okay, this stroke, we don't have the stroke panel active. I have it in mine. Let's go ahead and go Window, Stroke, and open up the stroke panel all the way. So now this is completely opened up, and we have transparency here. Not necessary, but let's put this up underneath our Properties panel. So the stroke panel's here, and we can see we have our stroke set. And how do we want this set? And right now, it is aligned to the inside of our shape. We can have it straddle the path or actually go on the outside. And the outside is great for text. So let's go ahead and click that just so you know it's here. And then close that up. Let's go ahead and save our workspace. Okay, we've got transform front and center instead of align. That's just fine. Let's go ahead and create a new workspace, call it the same thing, and now we have a new workspace that we can all work together on. I don't know why this isn't sticking. I'm going to go to my panel options and set this large and click OK. Now, working with live corners. I showed you in the prior quest, hey, we can resize these and make all the corners. I didn't show you, hey, we can turn this into a pill shape. And then what I certainly didn't show you is if both of these checkboxes are deselected and you try to make this a thinner pill shape, you know what's going to happen? You're going to click on this, it's going to look like something's happening, you're going to let go and nothing happens. And the reason is because scale corners is not selected. If scale corners is on, then we can go ahead and resize this and make a much thinner pill shape. Okay, I'm going to hit Command Z to take that back. If you scale strokes as well, when you make this thinner, the stroke gets thinner as well. You can always change the stroke here by clicking it down or up, or setting your own custom stroke. That is always a way you can work. So I'm going to go ahead and resize this and watch what happens when I take this back up to full size. Is this stroke gets very, very heavy. Now maybe you want that, maybe you don't. But I'm going to go ahead and change this back to 5. And then pull these corners back out. The last thing I want to show you in this first video is what happens if you just want to change one of these corners or two. Well, it's not going to work. Well, there's several ways to do this. Number one, you have direct input right here in the transform dialog box. This upper right corner, I can set this to 30 pixels and hit tab. And notice that all four changed because this is locked. Okay, yeah, that took me by surprise because I didn't unlock it and I didn't practice this because I wasn't going to do it this way. So now if I change this to, let's change this to 50 so you can really see what's going on. This corner changes, the others don't. I'm going to go ahead and pull this back and lock this again because there's another way to do this and probably a better way, which is grab the direct selection tool, click on one of the anchor points. See how these anchor points are hollow? This anchor point is solid. That means that solid one is selected. Now I can move this independent of any other one. I'm going to Command Z. This is still selected. If I hold down Shift, I can select the opposite anchor point and resize both at once. So you see, this gives you a little more control. And now, if I turn on scale corners, turn off scale strokes and effects, and switch to my selection tool, the black arrow, and resize this, you'll see that the stroke stayed the same, but the corners scaled gracefully as we move this. See how the corner's getting bigger and the corner gets smaller. So knowing how to change scale, stroke, and effects, now the stroke is going to get thicker as we move this. Okay, these two checkboxes are essential to understanding how to use these live corners with far more than just the rectangle tool. We're going to get to those other shapes coming up and some other tips and tricks that will help you work smart.